She does not ask your name. She asks what you traded. The words land gently, but they do not drift away. You tell her you traded nothing. The answer feels defensive even to your own ears. To admit you traded something would mean you participated in your own diminishment, and that is harder than blaming circumstance or time or the slow cruelty of adulthood. She smiles faintly, as though she has heard this answer countless times and never once believed it. Everyone trades, she says, stepping aside to let you enter. Inside, the cottage feels larger than it appeared from outside. The walls curve slightly inward like the inside of a shell, lined with shelves of glass jars filled with strange suspensions, petals that never wilt, ash that glimmers faintly blue, moth wings that twitch when the light changes. Thin spreads of smoke rise from iron bowls placed along the floor, and the smoke does not dissipate. It curls deliberately, weaving patterns in the air before vanishing into the rafters. At the center of the room sits a low wooden table, and upon it rests a bowl of water so dark it seems to drink the candlelight rather than reflect it. She gestures for you to sit, and only as you lower yourself into the chair do you truly see it. The wood is dark, almost black, but it is not polished smooth. It is carved with symbols that do not resemble letters, nor runes, nor any script you have ever seen. They twist in impossible angles, looping and splitting in ways that seem to resist human proportion. The longer you look, the more uneasy you feel. These markings do not feel decorative, they feel residual, as though something vast once pressed against this world and left its imprint behind. Not gods shaped like men, not deities you could name. Something older than worship, older than language, older than the idea of time as you understand it. For a moment you have the strange sensation that the chair is not furniture, it is a remnant. And when you place your hands upon its arms, the wood is faintly warm, as if memory still lingers within it. The witch says nothing, but the silence suggests that whatever these symbols once belonged to, it is not entirely gone. After what feels like an age, she speaks. "Look," she says. You lean forward, expecting reflection. Instead, the water stirs on its own. Its surface trembles without being touched, and slowly images rise from it, as though summoned from beneath a lake. You see yourself at 17, standing barefoot in summer grass, eyes bright with conviction you had not yet learned to temper. The image shifts. You see yourself at 23, laughing too loudly, trying to be impressive, mistaking approval for affection. It shifts again, and you see a later version, shoulders slightly lowered, voice carefully moderated, learning which parts of you were too sharp for certain rooms. The water does not show you your triumphs. It shows you the exchanges. You watch yourself swallow anger that might have defended you. You watch yourself soften truth into politeness until truth became optional. You watch yourself fold your ambition neatly and place it aside so others would not feel overshadowed. You watch yourself laugh at jokes that made you feel small because correcting them would have cost you warmth. The images deepen. With each concession, a faint light lifts from your chest in the water's reflection and drifts away, carried into the fog beyond the bowl's edge. You feel shame rise, then something heavier. Recognition. You ask her if what you see can be reversed. She does not answer immediately. Instead, she dips one finger into the bowl, and the surface responds like living silk. The fog outside the window presses closer, as if curious. Yes, she says finally, but you must understand what you are calling back. She explains that the parts you believe lost did not vanish, they were stored. Each time you chose safety over truth, each time you made yourself smaller to preserve harmony, something bright and inconvenient detached from you and drifted into the margins. She can summon them, but when they return, they will not ask permission to be gentle. As she speaks, the jars on the shelves begin to glow faintly, as though something inside them has awakened. The rooms that welcomed your smaller self, she says softly, may not survive your full one. You imagine conversation shifting, eyes narrowing, accusations of cruelty disguised as concern. You imagine people who loved the manageable version of you recoiling when confronted with your restored edges. The bowl darkens further. Then she sweetens the offer. She says she can return only part of it. She can give you courage that is diplomatic, desire that is discreet, truth that is softened. She can craft a version of wholeness that will not disrupt your life too violently. She can tailor your restoration to fit comfortably within existing relationships. As she speaks, the water brightens slightly. The image is becoming smoother, easier to bear. Your younger self smiles in the bowl, less fierce, more agreeable. It is tempting. It feels reasonable. It sounds like a compromise. And then you understand, with a slow, sobering clarity, that this is the same bargain you have been making for years. Take what you want, but only in a way that does not unsettle anyone else. You look again at the water. This time, the image of yourself at 17 does not smile. It waits. It does not accuse you. It does not plead. It simply stands, whole and unapologetic. You realize you were never asking for magic. You were never asking for permission. You lift your eyes and tell her you want all of it. The inconvenient courage, the disruptive honesty, the appetite that makes rooms uncomfortable. You want the parts of you that once startled people. You want the light that does not dim itself preemptively. The witch nods once, and the jars around the room pulse in quiet response. She lowers both hands into the bowl. The water rises without spilling, forming a column of dark glass that hums faintly in the air. Within it you see flickers, fragments of yourself scattered across years and decisions. One by one, they detach from the column and drift towards you like sparks. They do not enter gently. They strike your chest like returning birds. You feel heat bloom beneath your sternum and spread through your ribs. Your throat tightens, not in pain, but in recognition. It feels as though a locked door inside you has been unsealed, and the air behind it has rushed forward, filling spaces you did not know were hollow. The smoke in the room shifts direction. The reeds outside rattle softly. The water collapses back into the bowl. The change is not explosive, it is structural. Your spine straightens without effort. Your breath deepens. The world feels slightly sharper at its edges. When you stand to leave, the cottage seems smaller, as though it has completed its purpose. The fog has not lifted, but it parts for you now rather than swallowing you. The marsh does not feel safer, but it feels clearer. As you walk back toward your life, you feel the quiet horror of what you have done. You cannot return unchanged. The people who preferred you muted will notice. The rooms that thrived on your compliance will shift. But beneath that horror is something steadier. You were never asking to become someone new. You were asking to stop abandoning someone old. And for the first time in years, as the fog closes behind you, you feel entirely, inconveniently alive.